Good morning. Today, I've got 3 tips to help make your car last longer. And these tips are to perform regular and appropriate maintenance, to develop good driving habits, and to pay attention to warning signs. Now, why am I making these recommendations? So first, buying a car, especially buying a new car, can be a bit of a budget killer, meaning you're going to put a lot of money into something that you may not necessarily get the value out of. And that's why I always recommend, if possible, to buy a used car. Now, if you have to buy a new car, if you really see the value in it, you want to keep it a long time, it may be worth it. But I always recommend buying a used car, especially one that maybe isn't too old first before you buy a new car. This is really in the interest of your long term financial success. But we also want to make the car that we have last longer. For those of us who drive frequently, who live in an area where car transportation is required, which is most of America, I really recommend that you focus on trying to make the car that you have last longer in order to help you get to your financial goals faster. Because once you have the wealth, then you can buy the things that you want to buy. And in order to make that car last longer, my 3 tips, like I mentioned earlier, are first to do the appropriate maintenance. Now, this isn't just necessarily doing oil changes or changing out the coolant or putting good windshield wiper fluid in. Those are all important. You need to do those. These are things that you may not necessarily have inside your visibility at all times. So, making sure that your tires are properly inflated, making sure that your tires are rotated. Even when you're rotating your tires, ensuring that the spare tire is included in that mix, because then they're all being worn evenly. These are very important things to do because it can slip out of your view and you can end up hurting your vehicle or wearing it out faster by not paying attention to these things. Other maintenance stuff would be, washing the outside of your vehicle with some regularity, especially after winter. Now that we're in the springtime, it's a good time to do it. Get all that road salt off of it if you live in the Northeast or someplace where there's a lot of snow and road salt potentially. Also, maybe putting a coat of wax on it to preserve the body and to protect it from rust, or parking it underneath an overhead cover like a carport or even in a garage if that's an option for you, instead of having it outside. Now, maintaining good maintenance is one key, but another is good driving habits. And by that, I'm talking about, not accelerating and braking aggressively, not swerving between lanes, driving slower. Frequently, if you drive faster, you put yourself in a greater risk of getting into an accident, especially if you're in a rush. Also, just paying attention to warning signs. Hey, what are the warning signs that I get? If I get a check engine light, it's not something I'm saying, well, that thing comes on. I'm just going to ignore it. Really take it to your mechanic or someone that you trust and find out what the cause of that is. If you pay attention to the small details with your vehicle, you're going to be able to make that vehicle last a lot longer. And it's going to save you a lot of money. So keep this in mind. Always think about the long term with stuff that you invest in, because if you think about the long term, you're going to adjust your behavior appropriately. Please post a question or a comment. Send me a private message if you want to talk about it privately. I always enjoy reading your comments. And until next time, I wish you unlimited success.